Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a couple of comments on what I've seen so far in the APA practice papers. I do realize it's your first crack at this, but in general, I mean, the papers were pretty good, but I feel like even though I provided you all with a lot of resources on APA, that you really didn't look at them, just being honest. The reason why I say that is there's um, some pretty easy errors that a lot of you made, some simple errors that hopefully you should have caught, in my opinion, if you went through the resources. And I'll touch on a couple of those here. First of all, when you're doing quotations, when you're citing quotes, a lot of you had problems deciding when you used a page number and when you didn't use a page number. So please make sure you familiarize yourself with when you use a page number with a citation and when you don't. If you're doing a direct quote, you include the page number. Otherwise, if you're just paraphrasing, you don't need that. A lot of you made that error. Also, please pay attention to where the period goes. When you're citing things, the period goes at the very end, after the parentheses, after you put the author and the year of the article, and the page number if it's a direct quote. Another thing that some of you had questions or issues with is if you're doing a direct quote from a website or some manual or something that doesn't have a page number, you still need to tell me where in that document or where on that page you found it. So, paragraph 3, or some way for me to figure out where you took that quote from. It's touched on in the APA the Easy Way book. I believe it's on page 15 when it talks about electronic sources, and it'll tell you put the author's name and the paragraph number that you found it or something like that. So please make sure you refer to that, because when it's a direct quote, we need to know where you came up with it, where in the document you found it if there is no page number. If there is a page number, we want the page number or numbers. Remember also that APA style dictates that we write in the third person, not the first person. So try to avoid saying, I did this, I found out this, we did that, we did that. You're wanting to write it in a scholarly format. You're wanting to talk about a certain topic from the third person. So you're saying, this, and this, and these authors say that, and this leads me to this, or this leads to this, or the assumption that, whatever. So you want to avoid I, me, we, all those first person kind of tenses and formats. Similarly, whenever you're referring to references or studies, use the past tense, because those studies have already happened. So when you say, Calhoun 2011 stated that blah 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 blah, don't say states, because it already happened. It's past tense. So please be on the lookout for that. Always use the past tense. A couple of other things. Make sure you have page numbers, and use the heading, the header. Insert header, page number, and have a heading. You don't necessarily no running head, but have a heading in typical APA fashion. Reference pages. Make sure you're checking out the correct format of that, especially the spacing. It should be double spaced. Make sure you're indenting correctly. Make sure you're looking at the rules for capitalization on your sources in the reference page. It's kind of tricky, and a lot of things are lowercase that normally you wouldn't think are lowercase. Certain things are italicized and certain things aren't. So make sure you know your spacing, what's bold, what's italicized, what's capitalized, what's not. Familiarize yourself with that. What else? Make sure you're doing what I asked for in the directions. Some of you didn't cover some of the things. Either you didn't have 2 layers of headings. So I want there's the short book, the AP the Easy Way, does a good outline of how the headers should look. So you want to have the centered one that's bold, but you also want to have the second level, which is flush to the left and bold. So if you don't have those two levels, then you need to go back and fix it. Also, a lot of you had trouble with the having multiple sources within one sentence. And what I meant you to do with that is include, you have a sentence that has similar, two sources that have similar content, but they're different sources. So, let me see. Leadership in higher education is something that requires much more training than previously thought. And then you have your parentheses. Calhoun 2011, Johnson 2015, or whatever. Close parentheses, period. So that's what I mean. You have the same two sources that are similar enough in content, but they're different sources that you're having in the same sentence. Because I wanted to see if you knew how to do that correctly. So make sure when you're doing your resubmissions that go back, read over the directions. Make sure you have a book, a chapter from an edited book, a peer-reviewed journal, and a website. And then make sure you paraphrase. You do one situation where you paraphrase content and include the citation. One where you do a direct quote and include that citation. One where you cite at least two sources in the same sentence, which I just said. One secondary source, so whatever as cited in whatever. Your reference page is correct. Make sure that you do the formatting correct with the margins, fonts, paragraph, page numbers, and that you have at least two levels of headers. So, I know it was a lot, and sorry. Like I said, in general, I know it's your first crack, but please make sure you're using the resources that I provided to you. And if there's something that isn't in the resources that I provided, I don't think there is. I think everything's there. But if not, you can do a search online, and oftentimes it'll pull right up what you're looking for. So if you have questions about specific things, please let me know.